Today we're covering Hymn of Heaven by Phil Wickham, and if you haven't heard this song yet, go check it out. A lot of churches are starting to incorporate it into their worship sets. It's a really great song, and we're going to talk about some different capo options, some different chord options with your left hand and with your right hand, how to strum it, the best way to strum it to get you from chord to chord pretty easily. And let's take a look at the chart and see what's happening as a whole with this song. You can download the chart for free. Just check out the link in the description box. And while you're at guitarman.com, you can check out how to become a member for $1 and try out every single guitar lesson, every single guitar course on the site. So this song is in the key of E. And let me talk a little bit about the key of E and what you can do with this song or any other song in the key of E. The most obvious is to use the E chord family and E chords. And I cover the E chord family in my intermediate course that you can check out on the site. Another option, and this is what we'll do today, is to use a capo and put it on the 2nd fret using D chords or D chord shapes. So D plus 2 is going to put you in the key of E, and all of your chords might be a little bit easier to play. So we'll go with that for this lesson, but just know you can use regular E chords for the song, of course, because it's an E. And there's a third option. We won't spend a lot of time on it, but I do want to show it to you. This is called a shortcut capo. So it's kind of allowing for your little 2 strings to ring out and then your low E to ring out as well. So what this is doing, as far as you thinking about your chord shapes, it's still like a capo 2, and you're using D chord shapes. The main difference here is that anything that's on the little 2 strings can open up, and that'll complement what's happening with your E chord family, or your E chords rather. So instead of a G, you can open up these bottom 2. Let's take a D chord, typically like this. Well, what you can do, because this D capo 2 is actually an E chord, this capo allows that low E to ring out. So you get a nice full sounding D. So it has some really cool options. It makes chords pretty easy. And again, I cover this more in other lessons, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. But anytime you have a song in the key of E, just know that the shortcut capo can be a really good option for you. So let's go back, capo 2, and let's talk about the chords that we're going to see in this song. The first one, of course, is a D chord. And from here, generally in the D chord family, I encourage people to keep their ring finger on, because that's going to help you with all kinds of switches, like from G, to G rather, or A. You can just slide it in one and build your A. So that ring finger is helpful to know where to move it. Some chords in here are not as common, but you'll see them in this song, and one of those is an A over C sharp. Now this is a tricky chord. That means an A chord with a C sharp in the bass, which is on the 4th fret relative to capo. 1, 2, 3, 4. A couple ways to play it. You could use your ring finger and then bar the A. You could also play a regular A and use your pinky. This is harder to get. I prefer the first way. And also know with any slash chord, A over C sharp for instance, you can always just disregard the 2nd note, the C sharp, and let your bass player get that. That's your bass note over top of the chord. So you'll see that as a passing chord, which means it just happens once, one beat. It happens real quick. And let's see what other chords. There's a D over F sharp, which is actually kind of a common chord. A couple ways to play this one. Again, you could just play the D if you want, or you can use your thumb. This might be odd if you're not used to it. You can actually use your thumb to swoop up and get the F sharp on that low E string, 2nd fret. The easier way to play it is to take your middle and pointer fingers of a D and play what's called a D2 over F sharp. So move that middle finger up 2 strings. And your pointer goes all the way to the top for the F sharp. So you can use that there, and then let's go back to D. I'll show you one more trick you can use for a B minor chord. You can use what's called a D2 over B. So move both of these middle pointer finger up 2 strings, 1, 2, 2 positions up, starting on your 5th string, and this is a D2 over B. So you still have your B as a bass note, you're just not playing an actual B minor. You're kind of combining the D chord with a B bass note to get something that works great, and it's easier to play, it's nice and open. And if you're going from that chord into a G, that middle finger can just scoot right up top to the G, pinky on the bottom. So let's take a look at the chart and see if there's any other tricky chords. There is a D sus chord, you'll see that often. The way to play that is D with your pinky on the bottom. Now there's different types of D sus. Sus just stands for suspended, and there's a D sus 2 and a D sus 4. This is actually a D sus 4, and you're just going to put your pinky on the bottom like you would with the G chord. So that's all that means when you see D sus. Let's take one more look at the chart, see if there's anything else chord-wise that might be tricky. I think we've covered all of it. You of course know your A chord. So that should get you going as far as your left hand and your chords are concerned. Now let's talk about your right hand and strumming and the strum pattern that you want to use with this song. And you can see that there's lots of boxes with hatch marks over that. And what that means is that there are chords that share the beats in a measure. And in this song, on some of the measures, they share them unequally, meaning one chord will get 3 beats, another chord might get 1 beat. So anytime you see the little marks, that's indicating how many beats within a measure. There's only 4 beats in a measure. And how many beats does one chord get? How many beats does another chord get? If you don't see any hatch marks and you just see the box, that means they get equal beats. So D to D sus, for instance, would be D will get 2 beats, D sus gets 2 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if you see a box, let's go to the chorus, and D gets 3 beats, D over F sharp gets 1 beat. That's called a passing chord. That would sound like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you go to the next measure. So that's what the boxes and the little hatch marks indicate as far as measures. Now, as far as your strum pattern, if you listen to the song, the acoustic guitar isn't driving everything. There's a lot of piano that's kind of the main instrument, and then the band kind of surrounds it and builds toward the end of the song. So with this particular song, first of all, any strum pattern in 4/4 will work okay for the song if you have a full measure. So know that you can use that, but as far as this song is concerned, what you mainly hear are down strums or eighth notes, which is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and again, that's complementing the whole. So let's go to the chorus. So G, A would just be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. If you let your pick connect on the way up, that might help give a little something extra instead of just having downstrokes. And then from here, we're going to go D for 3 beats and D over F sharp for 1. So that would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and let's go to B minor. So G1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we have A to D over F sharp as a passing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this next measure is interesting because you're splitting up the chords in a different way than you just did. So D to D over F sharp, each get 1 beat, and then G gets 2 beats. So that would sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you're just counting 1, 2, 3, 4, you're kind of strumming double that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. After that measure, we have G and A in a box. Back to D. So let me look at the rest of this song, and that's pretty much all that you see, except for the very end. You'll see a diamond, and that just means to play it once and let it ring out for the entire measure. So your right hand's pretty simple with this one. You're just mainly focusing on downstrokes, and if you connect your pick on the way up to add a little something extra, that's totally fine to do. You just want to accent your downstrokes for the song. And the beginning of the song, by the way, starts out really soft. If it's just you on a guitar, you could even play diamonds at the beginning. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You're just kind of accenting the chord changes and maybe filling in just a little bit with your right hand. Last but not least, let's cover the lick that you hear at the end of the chorus before it moves on to the next section. And this happens over top of the 2 D chords, or the 2 last chords of the chorus, and it sounds like this. For my right hand, I'm using my thumb just to give it a little bit of a warmer sound, but you can use a pick if you'd like. And your left hand, you're going to start on the D string, or the 4th string from the bottom on the 4th fret. Your pointer can get 2nd fret of the string below, the 3rd string from the bottom. And then 4th fret on the same string. And hop back up to where you started, 4th fret of the 4th string. Back to 2 on that same string to end it out. So I'll play it slowly so you can hear it. And a little faster sounds like this. Pretty simple lick, but if you're playing with another guitar, or maybe the piano is not able to play that lick for some reason, that's how you play, again, the lick at the end of the chorus. So we've covered the song in general. We've covered your left hand and how to play some chords and some different options with the capo, and your right hand and strumming, and of course the lick at the very end. So now you have everything that you need to play the song Hymn of Heaven.